So, okay, we are recording right now. So, everybody, what's up? We are with Michael Khieu. Obviously, huge inspiration, huge TikToker, working on multiple brands. So, how are you, man?
I'm good. Just happy to be here. Provide as much value as possible for you and your audience. And yeah,
For sure, man. So,
super
yeah, man,
excited.
a lot of people already know you, like, from TikTok. Like TikTok, there's a lot of like people on it, huge audience, and you know how to work the ropes on TikTok. You know the algorithm, and I think you produce a lot of cool content on it. So before even we talk about TikTok, like you always are like spitting facts, really cool content. Like, were you sort of like that person that loved to like learn about random and different things, or like were you always like a curious type of person?
From the beginning of time, like I've always read a lot. I read a lot. So jumping into pretty much any topic it's pretty easy for me. But no, I mean, right now I'm kind of like hitting, because usually what I do is I tell people when they're starting out on TikTok that you should niche down into one specific lateral so
Mm-hmm.
that the algorithm can categorize your account properly so we can push it to the people that would be interested in your stuff. So I started off more in like business development, econ, finance stuff. And then I just expanded once I passed like 200, 300, 500K into just generic mainstream stuff. And the reason why I did that is because I know that on TikTok specifically, if you do more generic content, you should be able to appeal to more people. The
Yeah.
problem is like people are not going to remember you as like the guy specifically for a certain topic. But no, I mean, so I went really general, and this is my temporary phase to get like to like 2 million, 3 million, 5 million followers. Once I hit those levels, once I pass that threshold, then I could niche down again into a specific thing. But for the time being, I'm staying very flexible. And since I coach a lot of people for Instagram growth and TikTok growth and whatever, they can see on my account like I could touch pretty much any topic as long as I optimize the video properly for the algorithm natively. I can make the video go viral so they can see I've already done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it
Yeah.
takes like a talent to like get any sort of like subject, any like topic, and then make it really appealing. And that's kind of what you do in your like
Yeah.
15, 30-second videos. You can take it like really captivate the audience. And I think that's really a skill to like,
Yeah. And
teach people how to do things or like show you the content in general.
and one thing too is like I think people like they kind of like miss this part out. Like it took me a lot of practice to get to the point where I'm at right now. Like I was already on social media for a while, but for TikTok specifically, I still remember my first videos. I had a first account where I just practiced a bunch. Really, really bad videos. Like my storytelling skills were terrible. I would not look at the camera. I would look at the screen. My just like my voice would just be all over the place. Really, really bad. But then over time, posting 3 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times a day, I really started to pick up the skill of being able to like express myself properly. And yeah, and I'm at the point I'm at right now. So
So when did you like first download the app?
I downloaded the app in October, and I had a first account just to test out the app, understand the features, filters, how exactly the whole thing works. And once I posted for about a month on that account, I started my second account, which is the account I have right now, and I've been posting since the end of November all the way to now.
And so like have you been like posting like literally every day? Do you kind of have like a schedule on when to post and what type of content to post? I feel like you just like there's so many topics that you talk about. Like I feel like there has to be some sort of structure to your day, or do you just have like a bunch of ideas and you kind of just execute on the spot?
So the way I work is basically I have my reference lists. I try to stay in the creative mind throughout the day. I write down all my ideas on my reference list in my notes app, and then when it comes down to content creation, then I sit down, check one of the ideas that I want to talk about, do a little bit of research on Google, cross-examine the data, make sure it's factual.
Mm-hmm.
Then I find my green screen pictures for the background. I lay out my script, go straight into filming, and then post production. And I try to get like three posts every day. And it's pretty much just the time of the day that you post doesn't matter because everything's algorithmic driven. So as soon as I sit down, it's one post after another, no breaks, just like one after another.
Mm-hmm. So you said like your main focus right now is like just to get to that point where you hit like 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, and then you're gonna like niche down into different like
Yeah.
subjects, right? So you want to go back into like businessy, like e-commerce, dropshipping, or like what type of things do you want to talk about once you hit that point?
Probably a lot of business development stuff and social media in general. But I'm thinking of doing some more macro worldviews, econ, politics. I'm a little bit skeptical for the time being
Mm-hmm.
because it gets a little bit when it's too controversial as a subject.
Oh yeah.
The algorithms sometimes they like to censor you or whatever.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe it's something along those lines because I'm pretty passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. But like for you specifically, like what do you like the most? Like what type of things do you like really are passionate about? Like I know like you like business, like politics. Is that like one of your favorite things to talk about, even though you don't really say it like on TikTok like that?
My favorite things to talk about now would probably be everything related to philosophy, ideology, politics, worldviews, econ, and just that whole intertwining of it, the
Mm-hmm.
different layers of it, morality as well. So those are the things I like a lot. I started off more like kind of grounded, more technical business development, and I'm still there's a lot of stuff to explore and learn there. But I realized later on as I got older that if I sacrifice, if I don't pay attention to things that are happening more at the macro level, I'm really shooting myself in the foot as somebody who wants to explore and go down the
Yeah.
business alley.
How important do you think like philosophy ties into business?
It ties in a lot in the sense that you can understand people better, even sociology. You can understand where they're coming from. You can solve problems for people that have a certain philosophical like position or things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty important, especially like knowing that like social media is very and business is very psychological. It ties into like people, their emotions, their values, whatever. Understanding philosophy, ideology, and politics is going to be a very big stepping stone. Not only for solving problems, but for preventing issues and for being able to be prepared for when things are coming at the macro.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of times, business people don't know anything. So
Yeah. Like to be honest, like on a personal level, I don't like to talk about like politics at all because I feel like even if you have like the right viewpoint per se, like you're always going to be criticized no matter what, right? And
yeah,
I think everyone should learn how to take criticism. Like everyone should like if you have a huge audience or a huge personality, you need to develop thick skin. But I think when it comes down to politics, it's like a different realm because like it's very like it's just a different thing. Like politics, like you can really get like
yeah.
bad mouth on social media. Like you can talk about other controversial stuff, but I think once it goes down to politics, it's like a different story, and really like I don't know. I feel like really bad
I
things
mean,
could happen.
I pretty much grounded myself properly in like the certain doctrine that I follow. So I'm pretty much set in stone. I still explore and understand and try to look at all the viewpoints. But when you really look at everything and then figure out your position properly, you know what's kind of like good in your sense
Yeah.
and bad. So, and it's kind of like if you don't express those things, it's kind of like doing a disservice because the opposition is expressing it
For sure.
without fear, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Do you have
So
like a favorite philosopher, by the way?
right now, I'm kind of getting grounded into like radical capitalism, Ayn Randian type, but there's still things that I have to like take a look at, like nuances.
Mm-hmm. But do
But
you have
that's
do
kind
you
of
have
like positioning. Yeah.
like one like specific, let's say like Plato or Socrates? Like, do you like study a lot of those guys, somewhat?
Uh,
Or like
my my top philosopher, like I said right now, is probably Ayn Rand.
okay.
So she was a radical capitalist. They call her. It's called objectivism.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like laissez-faire capitalism to the extreme. Not anarchy, but capitalism. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think
So yeah.
like every kind of system has like not every system's perfect. Some systems or like a lot more systems have more flaws than others, right? Like you don't think every
Yeah.
system is perfect.
No, I mean every system right now is a mixed economy type. So it has a little bit of statism. It has a little bit of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
There's no system in the world that's fully capitalist. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I feel like I don't know, the world of politics is just like a different monster and like I
Like
think
for example, like just to give you an example, and I don't know if you want to talk about this too much in your podcast.
that's cool.
Our
It's cool.
podcast is more business, but for example, United States, everyone says, "Oh, it's the most capitalist place in the world," whatever. But they have a bunch of welfare programs. They have healthcare for Medicaid for older people. They have, I think it's Medicare or Medicaid. They have education that's subsidized and a bunch of loans that are regulated. Banking's regulated. It's not laissez-faire. It's not the definition of capitalism. It's
Hmm.
a little bit of capitalism, a little bit of socialism,
Like
mixed economy.
I like this topic because like I always feel that people think that United States are like the most driven, the most entrepreneurs, you know what I mean? But in reality, like to be honest, like I haven't been traveling to a lot of countries, so if I go somewhere else, I can really explore what they're like, what the people are thinking about, what they're working on. And I know there's so many entrepreneurs on the other side of the world. I know China, they're
Yeah.
very, very driven. In Israel, like there's so many entrepreneurs there. Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
so many
Israel's
like
good too. Yeah.
like places around the world that like are really like pushing the boundaries, you know, in terms of technology and like entrepreneurship in general. So it's really cool to really think that okay, we're not the only ones in the United States putting in their work. It's a lot of
Oh, I
people
mean,
too.
that's one thing that I'm pretty grateful. Like in my family, while I was growing up, I was able to travel a shit ton. So I've been to plenty of countries. So I kind of see the lifestyle, the systems. I understand the culture, whatever. So, but it's a very interesting what you said. And one thing too is like, again, it's like some of the places that you're referring to. It's like there's a lot of entrepreneurs, but the government is able to violate your property rights in 2 seconds. They're able to
Hmm.
tell you what to do at any time. They're going to regulate you at any time. So it's like, and if you, as the entrepreneur, have zero idea what's happening, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's definitely
I
really
mean,
tough.
for example, let's talk about TikTok for a second. Let's say you're TikTok. Let's say you're the company or you're the executive of TikTok, and you have zero idea of what's happening, or you have a very weak understanding of what's happening, geopolitics, whatever. And all of a sudden, um, Trump comes in, wants to sign executive orders to ban you in like 90 days, 45 days, and 90 days, whatever. And it's like, does he even have the constitutional right to do it? Does he have the property? Is he able to violate property rights in 2 seconds like that for a national security threat, which we haven't even seen any proof yet? Um, just because it has, just because the parent company is located in China, and we make the claim that we make the accusation that it might be linked to the CCP, the government of China.
Hmm.
It's like, is that a reason for shutting down an entire business? What if I'm a company from Sweden, but the Swedish government is not really good in good terms with the United States? We're gonna shut me down too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff like that. It's like if we shut down TikTok, for example, in this case, what's the signal that's going to be sent to all foreign investors, foreign companies that want to come into the United States and want to do business in the United States, being able to be shut down in 2 seconds? The market volatility is going to be insane because
Hmm.
nobody's going to trust the market and the government anymore.
Yeah, I heard a podcast and they're talking about exactly that, where like the things that they're fine with like Instagram, like basically U.S. companies, U.S. social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, you know, like Snapchat, like they're fine with like them taking the data from U.S. people living in the United States, but they're not fine with like TikTok, which is a China-based company, taking data, getting data from the United States. You know, I think like a bunch of social media platforms that we use right now, like they're taking our data and using it to their advantage, maybe even selling that data to other big conglomerates, and that's can
Yeah,
be like people can see that as messed up. I don't know,
and
but the fact,
it's like
yeah,
where's that line that's drawn between, like, let's say Facebook, IG, Twitter, and like TikTok? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
But yeah.
it's definitely a good subject, a good topic to talk about. But like, I don't know, who knows what's gonna happen? And like, to be honest, like, there's only like so many things that we actually know as like, you know, as citizens. Like, yes, there's the
Yeah, yeah.
information's online, but they're probably not gonna reveal anything. Not maybe like until like years down the line, you know.
Anyways, I doubt it's gonna be banned. I really highly doubt it's gonna be banned. And but yeah, I mean the whole thing is just, I think what's going on is just political theater because Trump got elected the first time, and one of the big things that he campaigned on was basically, "Don't worry, America, your problems it's because of those Chinese guys. China's the enemy," kind of thing. And then this kind of like ties in a little bit to the rhetoric, but you know,
So another,
I think it's more of a political thing, but
yeah.
it's not actually going to happen.
Do you think it would be better, like just like a general question, that like countries were actually like instead of competing against each other, like competition is always good, but like I think like Gary Vee is like, don't tear down someone's building, kind of like out, like just beat them at their own game. You know what I mean? Like competition in any business like is good because both businesses can like basically improve their game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, don't take down China. You really need them like for the economy. I think, you know. I think with basic economics, like if you trade depending on what, like I forgot the metric exactly, but basically you're going to benefit both parties. So instead of just like fighting against China, just work with them, right? And that goes with any other
And
like system.
there's another thing too. It's like, I think a lot of people, what they do is they kind of like look at like America, and every company in America and every individual in America is tied to the governments. And they say American companies, American whatever, versus Chinese, everything's linked to the government of China. And it's like, no, the guy in America, an individual like you, is doing business with an individual in China.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like China versus America, which is
Yeah.
what everyone sees. It's like one guy in America versus one, and talking to one guy in China. But
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. What you said makes sense.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of businesses can be jeopardized because of that. Like even with the tariffs, like a lot of businesses are getting beat up. They can't really make a profit. Their profit margin has just decreased,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
this.
like one thing that one thing that I talk about a lot is like tariffs and protectionist policy is something that the left actually likes a lot. That's why we say the right wing people are actually very on the left, because the policies they engage in are very just so similar. It's like it's not even different at all.
Mm-hmm.
If you were actually a right wing person that believed in like freedom, liberty, whatever, you'd probably remove all tariffs as much as possible, and you'd find some other way to fix your problem, but not through economic, like just tariffs,
Yeah.
putting a tax on your own citizens.
Like, and since you travel to different countries, and you probably have like a better idea on this. Like, say
Oh
someone's
yeah.
an entrepreneur living in the United States, and they want to move to a different country where they can have the same opportunity, if not a better one. Which countries do you think are like the best option? Like when I think about like the UK, maybe.
I have no idea.
No.
I mean, I was gonna say Hong Kong at first, but now Hong Kong's screwed, so
Huh.
I have zero idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I like America and Canada in general. America's better than Canada, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Depends which state. But
Yeah.
yeah, Europe. I'm not a huge fan of Europe either. Very regulated. But I have no idea. I have zero idea, to be honest.
You know what confuses me? I don't know why Europe isn't like they don't have like skyscrapers. They don't look advanced. Like I feel like they got stuck back in time.
Yeah, that's
It's so
because
weird.
the government, a lot of governments of the different countries in Europe, they want to keep that. Apparently, they want to keep that traditional architecture.
Okay.
So they put a bunch of regulation on buildings. So you can't do skyscrapers, can't do whatever you want with your private property. You have to respect all the laws and regulations, whatever.
Mhm.
But if you go, for example, if you go to London, I mean, there's certain cities where you do have skyscrapers. For example, in London, there's an area where it has skyscrapers. Most of the city is exactly like you referred to. It's kind of like low, very European. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like Frankfurt in Germany, I think I saw some pictures to my
Yeah.
surprise that like they look like pretty advanced in terms of like their
Yeah.
their infrastructure and whatnot.
Because Germany got destroyed completely during the war.
Mhm.
Like Berlin, literally the entire city was wiped out. So they had no choice but to just rebuild everything. And most of the stuff they rebuilt was like a little bit more modern, a little bit
Okay.
more, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. All right. so so yeah, man. So you apart from like growing your TikTok, you also work on different brands, right? So you're the owner of Ani the workshop, and you're an executive for Odin Gear, right? If I'm saying it
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah.
So what are those brands exactly?
Odin Gear is a fitness apparel brand, primarily focusing on things that are Nordic, but we're also exploring into like techwear and things of that nature. It's kind of molded between techwear and fitness. Only the workshop. I'm a partner, so I'm not like the sole owner of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're two guys, and it's a Japanese streetwear brand. Started about a year and a half ago. Things are going pretty good so far. My primary focus right now is to build my TikTok massively, and then just leverage only the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a good niche to explore, like the dark side of Japan into clothes,
Yeah.
streetwear. Yeah.
Like,
So
are you kind of sorry?
yeah, we focus heavily on branding. That's like the primary thing we do. Focus heavily on branding, so that you can charge a little bit more. You can build a community, a culture around the brand. That's the key for clothing. That's the key, because clothing, it's a very cutthroat market. The margins are pathetic. Everybody's doing it. You have print-on-demand companies all over the place, so anybody can start their own brand right now, for free, basically. So in order for you to win in a very cutthroat market, you really, really have to differentiate yourself properly, and you have to build up the brand equity as much as possible. So influencer marketing campaigns, uh, the whole website, ad copy, the whole website, the pictures, the video, everything has to be on point.
And so what made you go towards like Japanese like streetwear? Like did you go there one day and you kind of felt inspired by their streetwear fashion or what?
So actually, the way it kind of worked was that I was with Odin Gear, and then I tried to strike a deal with them, didn't work. But the guy said the one who owns Odin Gear, he said he has a second brand just on the side that he kind of started to set up, but not fully. And then we decided to split equity on that brand. And then I was helping him build up only the workshop to what it is today. It was kind of like on the side. He didn't have enough time to spend time on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just came in, we did a deal together, and now we build it up. We built it up.
That's dope. So how much of your time is allocated to that brand and like compared to like TikTok?
My time that I allocated for the last like five prior to 5 months was literally probably 3, 4 to 6 hours a day. I was spending a lot of time actually. No, actually, yeah, about 3 to 4 hours every day. And then now, pretty much just like an hour a day, not even, because I'm
Okay.
going all in on TikTok.
Yeah, I feel you. So
Yeah.
like, but like you said, you work on the branding. I like talking about the branding of it. So in terms of the branding, like what do you really like focus on? Like you're like articles, like blogging, like podcast, social media, like influencer marketing. Like what do you do exactly to increase the brand? Because like you said, creating a clothing line nowadays is cutthroat. There's so many people doing it. Print on demand services, like it's really hard unless you build that nice brand and people can really, jump into it.
So one of the primary focuses that we did, well, I mean, basically that's my part of my part of the job. I focused really heavily on the Instagram profile. So what we did was that we got a bunch of clothes, did a bunch of photo shoots. At the same time, another thing that we did, because I live in Montreal, but we also wanted to have like that Japanese landscape or just an Asian landscape or certain areas in the world that are more aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is that we just kind of like reached out to a bunch of photographers and videographers. We didn't even pay them. We just send them a bunch of clothes, like let's say 3, 4 pieces for himself, or 2 pieces, 3 pieces for himself, and then 3, 4 pieces for the model. And they just go. We let them kind of like do their own creative thing. They just go shoot, and then they send us a bunch of pictures, and then we upload all those pictures on the Instagram, and we upload some of the pictures if they're very, very good quality on the website, but that are extremely aesthetic. And this method doesn't cost that much. It doesn't cost that much as like paying a photographer and videographer, which would probably cost like, some of them could charge like $80 an hour, or like $50 an hour, or like $200 an hour, like depending on what you get. But this method, we get the best location with a super good photographer that we find on Instagram, and we build up the relationship even more. And we kind of do a first wave of like 10 photographers. The ones that we see that are working really well, then we triple down on the second round on those 3 guys or 4 guys. And then we just kind of build up that relationship. So the pictures are very key. Another thing of branding, for example, descriptions and product descriptions, product names, and product collection names. We make sure that the name of the collection or the name of the product is very, very, we try to make it perceive as like high quality as possible. So we play around with for example, the colors. Instead of saying like a black hoodie, like hoodie, name of the hoodie and black, we'll say something like nightmare black, just to
Oh,
make it more
yeah,
aesthetic.
yeah.
If it's red, we say things like blood eagle, make it more aesthetic, so that the perception of the customer when they're coming into the website, they can be like, okay, this seems to be a pretty high quality, or it's a lot of it is about perception, right?
Mm-hmm.
We try to make it perceive like it's high quality,
Yeah.
even though it is.
So like, where do you kind of like? Definitely, you need like experience or skill to kind of learn these things. Like, where did you kind of like learn this out of like branding / business? Like, did you kind of like Like, were you a business type of person way back before? Were you like really interested in entrepreneurship? Like, did you read books, listen to podcasts? Like, how did you learn?
So I started on social media in 2013 or 14, one of those years, on Instagram. I had a page. I grew the page to 30,000 followers in the fitness niche.
Okay.
So I was posting 3 times a day, writing 200 words, 300 words, little articles as long form captions on each post 3 times per day, repurposing content, whatever. Then I had a second account, 300K. Then I had another account, 80K, all fitness. Then I had a 200,000 page on Facebook. So I kind of understood the social media side. And after doing that for a year, 2 years, you kind of get an idea, right? Of
Yeah.
the psychology, especially. Then I started learning about ClickFunnels. I started learning Russell Brunson. I started reading his books, whatever. At the same time, I was listening to Gary Vee, listening to Valuetainment, listening to Grant Cardone, Tom Bilyeu, Ty Lopez, all these guys, Dan Locke. And I just got an idea of what this whole internet marketing and business development thing is. And from there, I just kind of I just learned like that.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just like, while I was doing it, I was picking up things at the same time. But yeah.
So you think like your ultimate goal one day is like really grow your brand, grow your TikTok, leverage your TikTok so you can, make more conversions potentially with your brand, or like
Yep.
do you like that's like the first point, but like do you plan on creating like a lot more businesses or just growing that one particular brand in the long term?
I mean, the brand itself is not really, I don't really view a clothing brand as like the primary monetization method.
Yeah.
Like we said before, in order to make a good amount of cash in clothing, you need to have massive budget so that you can buy a shit ton of clothes, and then you can lower your costs for each piece, and then you can sell it at a higher price if your branding is good, so you can increase your margins a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I use the brand more as a I use the clothing brand more as a branding method, just to get like the brand out as much as possible and get people to wear like the logo and everything, and then be attributed to it. Right now on the side, I do a lot of consulting too for e-com, social media, whatever. But down the line, maybe I don't really know. I mean, maybe I'll start something in tech,
Yeah. What do you like in tech? Like a startup?
like a startup, an app, whatever.
That'd be dope. Like mobile, like not mobile apps. I remember like when the mobile app, like back in 2000, like when when the iTouch and the iPhones kind of came out, everyone was making like these games like Angry Bird, all that, like Temple Run. Like a lot of people were making all these games and they were making like tons of money. I remember that was like really exciting. Not that I made games at all, but I think that era, that window was like really cool and like a new
Yeah.
industry was
Well,
open.
the main problem with people in technology, and I know it because in software engineering, a bunch of people like this, computer science, same thing, is that first of all, they have like the perception of Silicon Valley. I'll be a billionaire. My app's going to be the best, whatever. They don't realize again that there's a shit ton of people that do it. A shit ton of people making apps. The technical part of the app, making the app itself or the game itself, is stage one. And then it's like, okay, how do I get people traffic to my app? And how do I make them stay on my app for a while, for a long time? And how do I get them to convert? That's the part they suck at completely. So they have their app. Oh, it's the best app in the world. Everyone loves it. No traffic. Or they get a little bit of traffic from like one method of like getting a little bit of traffic on like Facebook ads or something. And then they just lose it after like a month.
Wait, have you read this book? It's like, I forgot the name of it, but it's a blue cover. I think it's something Holland, and it's basically the whole point is how to like build a business, but at a point where like you kind of make a lot of iterations to kind of like get feedback and then build on top of it. And I forgot the exact name of it, but there's a case where there's this guy. I think he was like a game developer, and he made this game called Imvu, like IMVU. I don't know if you heard of it, but
Okay.
basically the game was really cool. It was like kind of like virtual reality in a way. Like it was kind of like one of those games like RuneScape. You meet people online and you play, but that wasn't his first intention. And the hard part was making the game. But he realized that like actually the hardest part was getting customer feedback and then making the game even better. Because like you have a massive budget making the game, but then like yes you have the game, but you need to let the people know that it's a good game. And so basically he was losing tons of money, and like other like startups, like they probably would have like just quit, just close the door, raise the white flag and call it a day. And probably like
Yep.
pivot. But this guy, like, he stuck with his guns. He made a lot of iterations, got a lot of feedback, and then he actually changed his whole idea. He made a huge pivot from his gaming app to something else because he realized that like that game, people wanted to make new friends online instead of inviting people that they know. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
so basically he had to know like the marketing side, the branding side, apart from just the engineering and computer science side of making of the game itself. So there's a lot of aspects of a startup, and that's why it's a lot more harder and challenging, you know.
Yeah, well, it's like you said. It's like stage one is like, okay, you got the foundation done, which is basically the app. All right, that's cool. And then it's like, how do I get people onto my app or onto my game?
Mm-hmm.
And then they play my game for a good amount of time, and it's a little bit addictive. And then it's like, what changes do I make to the game, or updates or things to the game to make it kind of like to make my adrenaline start running again as a user?
Yeah.
They have zero idea for a long time. And especially now with the internet, everything's super fast, and like there's so many games. As soon as it kind of starts to stagnate, or you have one meta in the game that just like destroys every other guy in the game, it's like it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But
You know
yeah,
that?
it's definitely a challenge. Like people think it's like, oh, it's so easy. The
Oh
guy made
no.
a game and he's making $1 million. And it's like, no, bro. Like,
Yeah, you know it's really cool actually. Like, it doesn't have to be with like web development or making games, but like it can even be hardware, like with tech hardware, right? And like it's cool because like a lot of people can be like, oh, I need like mad money. I don't know how to raise money. I don't have a venture capitalist. But if you have like platforms like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, you know, people can kind of crowdfund and help you build your projects, and then from there, if you catch some momentum, you can really make your startup into something a lot bigger.
yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people like they probably don't really know that route, but it's definitely possible. You don't need a VC, you know, you don't need like a suit and tie, go to Silicon
Well, it's
Valley and
like
stuff like that.
it's exactly like what Gary Vee talks about all the time. He's like he sees it in like tech area, and he's like, people are throwing money at all these little tech entrepreneurs and whatever, like left, right, and center. The guy has zero idea about business development. He just it's like you start an app or a tech company, and then like the prerequisite to start is like getting cash.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I mean, do you even know what you're doing? Not really. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah. So
You
like,
kind of like just look for VC. I need to have a shit ton of cash to start up, and it's like maybe you should try to figure out your game plan first properly.
mm-hmm. So
Then
like
straight to I need to raise money. Then
now,
they raise the money, 300K, 500K, and they think it's a success, and it's like, bro, you're just starting.
yeah,
It's not even your
like
cash.
that's the thing. Like if you, I mean, not that I know much about the VC world and all that type of stuff, but of course, if you borrow money, like either they own like a huge portion of your business, and if not, like you're not going to be like the boss of your business. You're going to be telling you what to do because if you have a lot of funding, you're going to be a board of directors telling you what the direction of the company should be, and you kind of lose
Yeah, exactly.
leverage. And
That's a trade off.
yeah,
So get an angel investor or whatever, but it's like you said, the angel investors and the VCs, they look at things typically very quantitative. So they're like, okay, what's your financial reports? Oh, you didn't even start yet. Oh, okay. So how do I evaluate them? What
yeah,
percentage do I take? How much cash do I give? What's the expectancy of me getting my cash back? It's like there's no indication,
mm-hmm.
minimal indication. It's very speculative, but yeah, you see it a lot.
Yeah.
But
A funny,
an app, yeah,
I was gonna say like a funny story that I had was like I remember I tried to go into like the cosmetics business selling CBD products, and like I was calling like banks left and right because the thing is that you need like a legit payment processor to process the CBD products because it's illegal, right? And then you need the actual bank to let you kind of like transfer the money that you're getting the orders from CBD into the bank, right? So there was like a whole process of it, right? And I remember
oh
like
yeah, yeah,
after like a couple of months, a bank finally hit me back up and they're like, you know what, we would like to listen to you, but we need a business plan. I'm like, okay, I can make a business plan. But then I realized, like, when they hit me up like months later, I kind of quit, right? Because I wasn't passionate about it. But that made me realize that, damn, like a business plan, like I can come up with all these figures and whatnot. But further down the line, like, I bet this can go complete 180. And like, you know, just because you have a plan, a business plan and projections, you're not going to, it doesn't guarantee anything that you're going to make that money. You know, it's all about
yeah,
really like
exactly.
making the product work, marketing, and just putting in the time.
Especially if you have like zero experience, even though you think even though you think that you know it, a lot of it, it's like there's so much more to it than you think, and then it's like it doesn't work out the same way as you expected, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But I
Like,
mean, one thing's for sure is like if you don't have like a little bit of your own cash in the game, man, over leveraging is pretty dangerous.
oh yeah, definitely. So wait, out of curiosity, does not going back to your TikTok, do a lot of like people, brands kind of hit you up because you have like a massive audience, and I feel wherever there's a massive audience, people want to promote their products or services. Is that true in your case? Do people hit you up?
Yeah, actually, I get maybe like 1 or 2 a week, 3 a week maybe, but I don't really take them.
Yeah, you kind of want to be like, I mean, not that it's a bad thing. You can obviously take it, make some money, but you want to be, I guess, grow your brand, grow your personal brand, and then use that to leverage to promote your other brands. You know,
Because you know how like every time you promote something, especially something you don't care about, that's the
mm-hmm.
worst, by the way. Every time you sell, the brand equity starts to go down a little bit. It's like, okay, he's selling out. He's a sellout. What is he doing? Why is he selling me the stuff? So as of right now, I live with my parents. I still live with my parents, so I'm still okay with the cash. So I'm trying to hold back from promoting things, especially things that I don't care about.
Yeah.
But most of the companies that reach out to me are usually apps that want to have, they either have something upfront to pay me, plus some affiliate marketing thing to get people onto their app. But yeah, aside from that, I'm not really that down.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I like you're sticking to your plan. Like you have a plan of like just growing your page and just leveraging it for your own purpose, not for someone else's, right?
Yeah, and one of the funny things is like every time I say exactly what I just told you right now to people, they're kind of like, "Bro, you're dumb." And I'm like, "Bro, I got to 1 million followers because I didn't do what you did."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like these
Yeah.
people, it's type of people that would tell you things like at 30,000 followers, "Hey, bro, how much money are you making? Hey, bro, why don't you make some more money? Why don't you take that deal?" Yeah, that's why you stay at 30K, or you go down in followers, or you never even reach 30K. You have to like completely switch the mindset of like trying to make cash too quickly,
Yeah.
and try to go all out assault on just providing as much value as possible. And then down the line, this is for me, specifically
No,
for
yeah.
me, down the line you could monetize a lot more.
So I was gonna say, like, to be honest, like, to kind of like give you some resistance, I do think that like it's not a bad idea to take the money, but you need to know that you're losing long-term growth because, like you said, your brand
Yeah,
equity does go down. As long
yeah,
as you're cool with that fact, then take the money if you want, but just know that your brand equity is going to go down in the long term, and that's what I
yeah.
think as well too. You know?
And that's the part a lot of people don't even think about. They don't think about the downside of like selling. But one thing that's good about selling, but again, it depends on your financial position. Right now, me, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but one thing that's good about selling is that having extra cash, it could allow you to invest in certain things. So if you're like a content creator and you want to invest in a new a new mic or a new camera or something, it'd be pretty good to take the cash sometimes, but not to buy like things that are cool, like just like more clothes or something of vanity. Just like
Mm-hmm.
to invest cash into your continuing venture.
Yeah. Now,
Yep.
on a personal level, like, do you feel like very worried because you invested a lot of the time building your TikTok? Like, how would you feel personally of like if TikTok were to go bust?
I'm worried. Okay, this is the way I rationalize it. Until I build a follower base across multiple channels, across multiple platforms, omni-channel network, I don't feel safe. I feel super unsafe right now. I had an account, like I told you earlier, on Instagram, 300,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 2 years to get to there. 2 years. And then the account got deleted for a violation of guidelines. They don't tell you which guideline. They just say, too bad for you.
Sheesh.
So my heart right now is pretty blackened already. So I don't feel good when I do well, and I don't feel bad when I don't do well.
Mm-hmm.
But until I reach that level, that past that one threshold of like a lot of followers across multiple things, I don't feel safe at all.
Yeah.
As for the ban again, like I said, I doubt it's gonna happen. Like 99.9% sure it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Because right now you have like 19,000 followers on Instagram, and that's pretty healthy. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you want that to increase compared to your 1.1 million followers on TikTok, right?
Like to give you an idea, like let's say I hit 100,000 followers on IG, All right, now we're starting to get far. We're
Yeah.
starting to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I started a YouTube channel, and then the YouTube channel starts to hit like, I don't know, 50,000 subscribers. All right, now we're starting to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And if I have 50K on YouTube, IG 100K, and then like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million on TikTok, now we're starting to feel a little bit safe.
I feel you, man. You gotta diversify your portfolio. But like, how long do you think it would take for you to hit that 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 5 million benchmark on TikTok?
As of right now, I mean, I need to up my game. I had a 7-day ban recently.
7-day ban?
7-day ban from posting.
Really? From like
Because
why?
all my content on TikTok, I use a green screen in the background,
Yeah.
right? And if the green screen, if the AI sees one little thing that seems to be controversial or violation of guidelines, it just takes down the posts. So, for example, to give you an example, okay, I had one where I was talking about 3 kids that are they were chubby, obese, and the kids it looks like the kids are naked because they're so chubby. So the AI looks at that and it's like image recognition, take down, and I'm like,
yeah.
this shit. I appeal the thing, the team reviews it, it gets restored, and that happens for multiple posts. It gets restored each time, but it still counts on their system as a violation.
Yeah.
It's still it's retarded.
And if you get 3 violations, you're kind of out, right? That's the
No,
scary
it's
thing.
I think it's more. It's a lot more.
Okay. So where do you like plan to diversify your portfolio? Yes, you have TikTok, you have Instagram. Now, do you have like a YouTube channel, Twitter, LinkedIn? Like, do you want to like how many platforms do you ideally want to diversify to?
I mean, right now I have a LinkedIn page, but like I don't post anything. I have a Facebook page, and I get like I think I have like 50 likes on my Facebook page. And my primary right now is probably Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty happy. Like my Instagram, like I was pretty happy with a little bit of the results. Like my stories now, every time I post, I get about 1,000 to 2,000 views on my stories, which is pretty cool. For a personal account on IG that I don't even give a shit about, pretty good.
Yeah.
So if I can raise that to like 100K and I'm getting like, I don't know, like 10K or 20K on my stories.
What about Instagram Reels? Do you kind of utilize that a lot? And do you see like kind of like a lot of organic reach from that tool on Instagram?
Okay, this is like a huge discussion right now, debate. Instagram Reels, I posted 5 things. I got like 100 views. So it's pretty bad. But okay, so Facebook basically tried to do what they did with Snapchat by copying the stories, right?
Yep.
The thing is that the story copy was successful because it was just a feature. And Snapchat users were just using Snapchat for that feature. But there was not like a creator, it wasn't like influencing creators, right? All right. So it worked pretty well because it centralized everything onto IG. Why would I use Snapchat anymore? The problem now is that with Reels, they're basically, first of all, before Reels for a second, in 2018, Facebook launched their app called Lasso, which is basically identical to TikTok. Short form video app, almost the same thing. And they officially declared a failure this year. They're like, Lasso, we screwed up. By the way, this is important because Facebook, $1 billion in valuation. They have a shit ton of cash. They have an entire team dedicated that understands the social media industry as a whole, right? Because they're in the industry. And they failed with Lasso. They failed. So imagine starting from ground zero with your own short form video app. It's very, 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 very hard. Just to get perspective. So what they did now, instead of doing that, they decided to integrate all the features onto IG directly, since all the users are already there with Reels. And the idea was to steal all the creators from TikTok and get people to just centralize onto Reels. The problem now is that the reason why it doesn't work and it's not going to kill TikTok is because the organic reach is not even close to being the same, if not better. And until they decide to release the organic reach, because we know IG has been going down with organic reach for like 2-3 years now, until they release that organic reach, at least to the same level, there's not a single chance Reels could win.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. The organic reach on Instagram is like really, really tough to grow. And that's why a lot of people are flocking to TikTok because they can build something of themselves pretty fast, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing because IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube were kind of like dominant platforms. But for content creators, it was basically IG and YouTube, Twitter, and so they were all craving for organic reach. So like, yo, I've been posting, I grew my page to 300K, 500K, whatever, and now I'm only getting half the organic reach of what I got 1 year ago. It's freaking insane. And I'm posting better content. I'm getting nothing because they want you to pay for organic reach. So then TikTok comes in by storm out of nowhere, super insane organic reach. Every creator just flocks to TikTok. They're like, yo, fuck it, I'm going in.
Yeah.
Fuck TikTok. Now all their time is basically on TikTok. They take a bunch of the attention of the users as well onto TikTok. GG, well played. The only way that IG and Facebook could win against TikTok is if they release their organic reach. The problem with releasing the organic reach on the internal side of Facebook IG is that if they release organic reach, at least at the same level as TikTok, a bunch of their clients that are paying for Facebook ads and all kinds of marketing stuff on their platform are going to just pull out because they're going to be like, yo, I'm not going to pay as much for Facebook ads to buy organic reach when I could just get it for free.
That's true.
Because you released it. So the leap of faith that Facebook IG has to go through is basically we're going to lose billions of dollars on purpose to try to match the organic reach with TikTok for our long-term success. Until that happens, no chance. There's no chance they could win.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. I mean, Reels is like, I was kind of worried to be honest at first, but then I realized like, okay, the organic reach, maybe I haven't tested it, so I can't really speak for everyone.
I mean, the organic reach is a little bit better than the IG posts or IGTV or IG videos. It's a little bit better than those, but it's not better than TikTok. That's the big thing.
Oh yeah, and that's why I think TikTok, like I think for the past couple of weeks, everyone's starting to realize, okay, TikTok is indeed better, stronger, more efficient, more fun than Instagram for now.
100%. And it's exactly like you were referring to before when we talked about games and gaming. Mm-hmm. You always have to add something new to your app to kind of make it more exciting. So in the social media realm, whether it's a challenge or a new feature or a new thing, in the case of IG, Facebook, they've matured for like 10 years now. It's been a while. You know what I mean? It's been a while. So people are looking for the new thing. As soon as they see TikTok, which is like a new restaurant just came down the line, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go test it out and try it out. Oh, it's pretty exciting and fun. I'll just stay here for now.
Yeah. Yo, actually, this is a really cool topic I want to switch to real quick. So, like, I love talking about, like, social media in general, right? In 2008, you had, like, Twitter, Facebook, all those popping, like, social media platforms. Now we have, like TikTok, like Snapchat. Now, where do you think is, like, the next step of, like, social media? Like, for example, like, when Web 3.0 comes out, I think we're at Web 2.0. Like, do you think there's going to be more social media platforms that integrate heavy on AI, or do you think there's going to be, like, say, the next big social media platform is going to be more of like something that's virtual reality, or like, where do you think is like the next big social media
step? The first thing with virtual reality is that it has to be popularized first. Like, the idea of virtual reality has to be popularized. Mm-hmm. And the price of accessing to VR has to be lowered significantly. Until that point, there's not going to be anything. But social media through virtual reality is going to be a huge thing for sure. But as for the next step, because this is how it works for social media usually in the industry, it's like one company conquers an entire media format. So right now what's happening is that short form video is like the big thing. TikTok came in, they just dominated. Everybody's fighting for the short form video format monopoly.
Yeah. Wait, have you read the book, the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing?
No.
Okay, basically, like, it kind of just summarized like what you kind of just said. Like, one of the laws is like you got to pick a certain category. So, for example, YouTube, long form video content, right? TikTok has its own category, very short form video content. And Snapchat is like video content that can be like instant messaging, but with videos, right? Each social media platform has its own category, and because they had their new category, basically they found their new, I forgot the name of the how you say the phrase, but their own blue ocean, right?
Oh yeah.
And then over time, people start copying that. but the leader is always the person who explores or that discovers that new category, you know?
Yeah, but it's also like specifically for social media. It's like once the one guy controls that one lateral, it's like GG, well played for everybody else that wants to try to compete it. The only way for him to get taken down is if another guy from another branch kind of like just starts to steal attention away, which is long form video versus short form. I think one thing that I do know that may happen very 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 soon is more of a social media platform getting built based on freedom of speech, whatever. Because as of right now, Twitter, Facebook, IG, we know for a fact like they've been censoring people who are right wing, and people who are left wing. Just on you can do whatever you want. Like you could literally say the most radical thing. Oh, we love you. You're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. As soon as you say one thing that's right wing, that's a little bit hurtful to somebody, that's hate speech. So that's gonna be that right there. Just because of that creates a huge opening for a new platform to come in and be like, yo, we accept everybody. You say whatever you want on my platform. You can be racist if you want, anything you want. So I think that's the next thing that's gonna happen. I don't know who's gonna come forward with it, but I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, and then once that does happen, I feel there's going to be so much controversy, but we'll see if that happens. But Michael, I feel like there's so much to talk about, but I don't want to take too much of your time. So like, where can like people find you, hit you up, and know not only about your personal brand, but also about your other brands that you're working on too?
If you want to hit me up for anything related to e-com, social media, or just questions in general, the best thing to do is hit me up on IG. It's King_KHIEU. And if you want to send me an email, it's Michael, MICHAEL.KHIEU@gmail.com.
Yeah,
Those
awesome.
are the two main methods. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so Instagram, TikTok, and I know you said you want to diversify into other social media platforms.
And YouTube for sure later.
YouTube, yeah, yep. YouTube, and maybe Twitter, Snap.
Yeah, I mean I don't know about Twitter because I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But definitely YouTube, and the reason why YouTube is because I could finally get more in depth with certain topics.
For sure. Yeah. Like one more thing, I feel like, to be honest, I just learned something today. Like when I first like encountered your content, I thought you were that dude that knew a lot of cool like random facts that said it in a very persuasive and fun way. But now that I got to talk to you, you're actually a businessman. You know about branding, you know about marketing, and you know a lot about social media and things about like politics, right? Would you like people to not perceive you as that dude on TikTok that knows a bunch of stuff randomly, but more of like an entrepreneur, businessman, social media specialist, like things along that line?
Wait, so what's the question exactly?
Like, do you think, like, would you like to be perceived more as like an entrepreneur / businessman? Because I think a lot of people perceive you as that dude on TikTok that creates a lot of cool, fun, entertaining content on TikTok.
Like I already said, the cool, fun, and generic facts or whatever, that's the temporary measure.
Yeah.
But down the line, when I start talking more seriously and I start doing more long form stuff and I start getting on stage and doing panels and whatever,
yeah,
it's gonna be hard to see me in a different way.
For sure, man. And I think hopefully a lot of people that see your new content in the future, once you hit that benchmark, they're gonna be like, what the heck? Like, I want to see the content that I saw before. But I mean, you're gonna stick true to your roots. You're gonna do the things that you like, because
I mean,
it's at the end of the day.
If I switch to things that are more serious, it won't be a big deal because I'm already doing some serious stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I already do some breaking news stuff, and I'm already talking about things like, for example, Lebanon with the explosion, and then I jump into some political stuff, and people are like, "Oh shit, okay." Like it's not a very radical shift in one shot.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a transitioning phase.
Yeah, and I think during that transition, you might get a low amount of views, and then until that algorithm picks up that new form of content that you're making, then you can start building. But who knows?
I don't think so. Like even any topic that I talk about right now, even if it's hard, I could find a way to make it get a lot of views.
Yeah, I feel like you're like a black belt in like TikTok, so you kind of know what to do. I feel like if you were to if I were to give you like a new phone in the middle of like an island, I feel like you were just figure out a way to like get like a 500,000 like followers in a matter of like weeks.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe
That's
you're
cool,
right. Yeah,
man.
I mean, I'm not too worried about me.
Yeah.
Like I said, once I reach like certain threshold, it's like Charlie D'Amelio, right? Charlie D'Amelio. She could pretty much post anything right now, and people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, what did she say?" All right, I like it.
Yeah, and so
You know what
many
I'm
people
saying?
don't
So,
do it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. She has a huge influence, a huge like, you know, a lot of people follow her. Not only
oh
like
yeah,
the only thing that what's cool is that she now has a diversified portfolio. She has a huge Instagram following as well, obviously on TikTok, and I feel like if she were to have like her own Snapchat, which I bet she does, she can blow that up as well. You know, she has that sort of like
actually,
power.
it was funny that you mentioned the whole like people perceive you a certain way, and then you might actually be the opposite.
Yeah,
I, I kind of like that in a sense too. It's kind of like, oh yeah, he's kind of like their generic, looks like a nerd kind of guy, and then you actually meet him in real life, and you're like, holy shit, this guy's a beast.
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna take a
like
step back a little bit.
yeah,
But for example, like when I send people to my IG and they take a look at all the podcasts that I do, and they see the true me, they're like, holy crap, this guy was not what I expected. I did a live session the other day on TikTok, and people were like, yo, is that even the same guy?
you can't judge. You really can't judge someone by like the first encounter on social media. You kind of have to like really know the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I've been talking to you for the past hour, I can't say I know you like inside out because this is our first encounter talking to each other. But you can't really like say bad things or good things. I mean, you can say good things, but you can't really like judge someone just by looking at their social media like that. You know, you kind of have to really
Yeah,
know them.
exactly. Well,
You
that's the
know.
thing too. It's like if I do a TikTok video, it's like I'm basically putting extra energy trying to act almost. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
like me sitting down in like a unedited area with just like me and like one person talking. So
Yeah, man.
100%. Yeah.
For sure. All right, Michael. So I really appreciate your time here. I think you spent a lot of facts. You know, to be honest, like this conversation, like I didn't really thought that would go this way. I thought we'd talk more about like TikTok and how you grow on it. But I was actually really interested in what you had to say with politics, branding, social media in general. So I think a lot of people can really take in a lot of information and learn more about you. You know.
Yeah, but you know, it's also one thing. It's like, I like this is what I say to a lot of people too. It's like this is like when you go down social media or like business, it's like there's so many variables that come into play. So this entire discussion we had right now, is something that people are gonna have to think about as well. Like you can know how to grow on TikTok, but at one point you're gonna have to talk about these things that are a little bit more, maybe more macro or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of value for people, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to learn that like yes, I can speak to entrepreneurs, people who are killing it in their respective games, but it's also important to talk about themselves, what their long-term goals are, and like the macro things, you know, like you don't have to think or talk about, you know, the tactics all time, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
People like to learn about their favorite influencers and whatnot, or like their perspective on things, you know. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it, and it was a pleasure coming on, and I'm super happy. And thanks again for the interview. It was pretty
Yeah,
sick.
man. Thank you for your time, bro. I really appreciate it. So I'll notify you once the podcast is uploaded. And yeah, man, I really appreciate your time here, bro.
Perfect.
All
Thank
right,
you,
man.
bro.
Take care, all right?